This video will explain what your options are if you're not happy with the content of your child or young person's EHCP. You can only appeal a final EHCP, you cannot appeal a draft plan. It's the same process if you have a new EHCP or if you requested changes to an EHCP through the annual review process. There are only 3 sections of the final EHCP that you can appeal. Section B, the description of your child or young person's educational needs. Section F, which is the educational provision that is required to support them. And Section I, which is the educational placement. If you are thinking of challenging the contents in Section B and/or Section F, you will need to provide evidence of what is missing or not included. There are several reasons why you might want to appeal Section B or Section F. It might be that something has been written in a report about the provision your child needs, but it's not included in full. For example, the educational psychologist report might say that your child requires access to an autism-friendly environment for 6 hours or for the whole of the school day, but the EHCP says that your child requires access to an autism-friendly environment daily. The change in wording can allow for a different interpretation of how much time your child should access an autism-friendly environment. It might be that not every need identified in Section B has a matching provision in Section F. It might be that you are requesting a place in an integrated resource. In this case, the mainstream school it is attached to is named in Section I, and Section F includes specific wording around your child's access to the resource. Section I is where a type of setting and the name of a setting is written, although sometimes the name of the setting is left blank. Section I must be left blank in a draft EHCP. If you disagree with the type of setting, the setting named, or no setting has been named, then you can appeal Section I. Remember, if you want an integrated resource, you will need to appeal Section F as well. If you are not happy with something in Section A, the views and aspirations, or Section E, the long-term outcomes, you can address those through the annual review process. These sections can't be appealed. You can ask the tribunal to make recommendations about the health and social care sections of the final EHCP, but these are not legally binding. Again, any changes you are asking the tribunal to consider will need to be backed up with evidence from professionals. When a final EHCP is issued, you have several options. You can accept the final EHCP. You can use the annual review or request an early annual review to request any changes to the EHCP. You can consider mediation, and you can lodge an appeal. Let's have a look at those options in more detail. You can request an annual review of the EHCP at any time if you want to request changes. There is no limit to how many reviews you can have in 1 year. The review is an opportunity for professionals to discuss how your child is progressing towards the outcomes in their plan and whether any changes need to be made. All requests for changes must be evidence-based. The local authority then decide whether or not to make amendments to the plan. This decision comes with rights of appeal. You can find more information about the annual review process in the video description. Mediation is a less formal way of resolving the dispute between yourself and the local authority. It involves an online meeting between yourselves as parents, a representative from the local authority, and a trained mediator. The mediator is impartial and is there to facilitate discussions to make sure everyone is treated fairly and that the statutory guidelines are being followed. Mediation meetings don't always lead to the issue being resolved, but sometimes they do. If an agreement is reached, this will be written down in what's called a mediation agreement. This is a contract between you and the local authority and it's binding. If an agreement is not reached, you will be issued with a mediation certificate and you will be able to lodge an appeal with the SEND Tribunal if you want to. You can also obtain a mediation certificate without attending a mediation appointment if you prefer. You will need the local authority decision letter to arrange a mediation appointment or to request a mediation certificate, so it's important to keep it somewhere safe. We have another video about mediation on our YouTube channel which goes into more detail about how to prepare for the meeting and what to expect. Your deadline to lodge an appeal is 2 months after the date on the local authority decision letter or 1 month after the date on the mediation certificate, whichever is later. You can lodge a late appeal, but a judge has to consider if your appeal should be registered, which can add further delays. In most cases, if you want to lodge an appeal, you will first need to get a mediation certificate. The only time you don't need to consider mediation and get a mediation certificate is if you are only appealing Section I of a final EHCP. To appeal the content of a final EHCP, you will need to use a Send 35 form. We have a video which explains how to complete the Send 35 form on our YouTube channel, and you can find the link to that in the description.